WVEC TV, Hampton.
And here we go.
This is Jim Conway, ABC News.
In the year 2000, Norfolk took part in a multi-city nautical celebration called OpSail 2000, marking the start of a new millennium. Think of it like a gigantic version of our annual Harborfest. 120 tall ships, more than 40 warships from around the world, and 70,000 smaller pleasure craft all took part in OpSail 2000. WVEC was there for OpSail's arrival in Hampton Roads. This special presentation highlights all of the festivities and celebrations that took place that weekend. We hope you enjoy.
From WVEC TV, Channel 13, this is 13 News Live special coverage of the OpSail 2000 Parade of Sail.
It all started last month in Puerto Rico. Tall ships, the towering giants of the seas, begin their journey north.
Last week, they won the hearts of nautical fans in Miami, the ship's first stop on the U.S. mainland.
Hugging the coastline, the sailing fleet will head north, making stops in Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, New London, Connecticut, and Portland, Maine.
But this weekend, Hampton Roads is the port to call for the tall ships of OpSail 2000, and we are bringing it to you live. We're preempting live with Regents and Kathy Lee for this very special event here in Hampton Roads. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaSalle Blanks.
And I'm Brittany Sedith. Good to have you with us. We are glad to have you with us. This is a 1-hour special of OpSail 2000.
That's right. As you can see, we've ditched the studio, folks. We are out here along the shores of the Elizabeth River in beautiful downtown Norfolk.
We want you to know that all of our newscasts this weekend will be broadcast from right here, this vantage point at Moon Engineering, just a stone's throw from our station along the banks of the beautiful Elizabeth River.
That's right. And we're not only here, folks. We have live coverage spread all across Hampton Roads so we can bring you at home great coverage and give you the best seat for OpSail 2000.
The Parade of Sail is underway. The tall ships and the flotilla have gathered at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay that's just off Fort Story.
Now they're going to head west, crossing the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. Meteorologist Craig Moeller has been there all morning long with a lot of great folks out there, a great view, and Craig, thank goodness, a great start to the day.
From there, the Parade of Sail heads into the harbor, crossing the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. 13's Velma Scape is live at Fort Monroe for that part of the ship's journey.
Now, a small group of vessels will peel off and dock in Hampton, but the bulk of them will continue on, passing our location here on Front Street.
Another small group will continue on to the Great Bridge Locks in Chesapeake, but the largest group of ships will remain in the waters off Norfolk's Town Point Park.
We also have a bird's eye view of the Parade of Sail. We're going to bring it to you a little later, high atop the Marriott in downtown Norfolk. Look at that.
Plus, from Skycam atop our tower here along the Elizabeth River. Also, Sky 13 is up and flying over the parade, and we'll have live reports from 13's Allison Williams.
Also, 13's military reporter Mike Gooding is riding along with the crew of the USS San Jacinto in the Parade of Sail. And 13 special correspondent Doug Aronson, he's aboard the lead ship, folks, the Coast Guard Bark Eagle. There's Doug, and we hope to have live reports from everyone in the next hour.
Now check this out. Today's Parade of Sail is 12 miles long, and it'll last about, get this, 10 hours,
Wow.
We're told. So we want you to sit back and enjoy our live coverage of this truly once-in-a-lifetime event.
It is going to be great, and we're going to be here enjoying it with you. We begin our live coverage of the Parade of Sail with the first of our cameras capturing the ships as they pass.
13 meteorologist Craig Moeller is out at the Bay Bridge Tunnel on the island there, and Craig, you have quite a sight.
Oh, it's been spectacular. As we've taken a look throughout the morning, the ships originally were just out kind of lining up just off the Lynn Haven Inlet, and as they've been going, things have been really running very smoothly. The winds were very light this morning, and now they're picking up just a little bit from the south. I just did a wind reading at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. As you can see, there's a large four-mast ship coming in. That is the Esmeralda, and it is just looking spectacular. Now, we've had about a third or so, maybe now a little bit more than a third of the ships, the tall ships, pass through, but there's a lot more to come, and we have certainly been enjoying that. The Esmeralda is the second largest ship, I believe, coming through at 371 feet, It is the pride of the Chilean Navy, and it is just a spectacular sight. You can see the smaller boats lined up all around the parade route, enjoying it. As I mentioned, the conditions have been just about perfect this morning. We have seen some low clouds kind of roll in, and that actually cut the sun, making for a more comfortable morning thus far. But right now the sun peeking back out, and I think the folks here really enjoying it. Folks started showing up this morning about anywhere from about 2:30 till right when we started daybreak, and as we've watched, we've seen the crowds really show up, smiles on everybody's faces, just enjoying the parade. It's been a spectacular morning so far. Again, a lot of folks out here, and we'll continue to update and follow the track of all these ships, and we'll bring you more information as we come throughout the morning.
Craig, we'll see you in just a few minutes. Thanks.
Folks, we told you we were going to put you right in the middle of the parade of sail. Right now, we're going to put you right in front of it. 13 special correspondent Doug Aronson is live aboard the USS Bark Eagle, the Coast Guard Academy ship. And Doug, it is the lead ship of this parade of sail.
An historic moment for all of us because we are broadcasting live from the Eagle as she sets sail. Again, the lead ship in this parade of sail. We're actually making our way, we're going to actually go straight for a little bit, and then we're going to be turning left at the Chamberlain Hotel there in Hampton, and we'll be passing through the channel of the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel. This is really a spectacular ship, 295 feet long, 22,000 square feet of sail. As you mentioned, it is the training vessel, really the flagship for the Coast Guard Academy based there in New London, Connecticut. Ordinarily, they have about 30 crew members and 5 officers on board this ship, and about 150 cadets. On this ship today, I'm going to try to walk around, so bear with me a little bit. There's a full complement of staff here, obviously Coast Guard cadets, but a lot of dignitaries and other people here who are guests of crew members. We're going to go up a little ways, and you can see they're manning the yard arms is what that's called. Why are they doing that right now? Just for show, I'm told. In fact, the Eagle, when it's going to set full sail, it won't even actually happen during OpSail here. When it decides to set full sail, they'd have all those sails up, but they only have 3 going right now. We're actually really being powered more by diesel than we are by wind at this point. But we are on board live as the Eagle sets sail. It's quite a sight and quite a moment to be.
Hey guys, I wanted to update you right now. Behind us, passing through the Bay Bridge Tunnel here, you can see the Esmeralda, a length of 371 feet, a crew of 352, the home port Valparaiso, and it is a 4-masted barkentine. Beautiful ship, steel hull, and it's just an incredible sight to see. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Ground zero for OpSail 2000 is way behind us, back there across the river at Norfolk's Town Point Park.
That's right, and with the crowds there, 13's Benita Harris. Benita, okay, we've got Harborfest combined with OpSail. We've got the Sea Wall Festival over in Portsmouth, so there's plenty to do on both sides of the river.
All kinds of excitement going on. Harborfest kicks off at 11 o'clock with a lot of music, performances, and a viewing of the ships until 3 p.m. And then the Sea Wall Festival kicks off at noon with more music performances, a lot of children's activities, and then visitation of the ships there goes from 3 until sunset. As you can see behind me, people are already lining the waterfront, just waiting to get a glimpse of these beautiful ships. 40-plus ships are on the way here after 4 years of planning, and sightseers are here staking out great positions to watch them. And I've got a few of them here visiting with us today. From Virginia Beach, we have Miss Sarah and Beth Ann Tracy. And tell me why you guys decided to come out and watch the ships.
Well, because I think the ships are really cool.
Okay, you think that one's cool. Wait till you see this armada coming. What about you, Beth Ann? Why did you want to come?
Well, we studied the ships in our classroom, and we adopted the Susan B. Constant at Kingston School. And also, our music teacher and her son are going to be on the Susan B. Constant, so I kind of was looking forward to see them.
Gonna wave at them?
Yes.
All right, thank you, girls. And also, I wanted to introduce you to the official Burgermeister of Harborfest this year, Mr. Johannes Weigelt. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Now tell us, everybody, what an official Burgermeister is.
Official Burgermeister is the mayor of a town, whatever, and mostly I'm just the Burgermeister for all the different German fests, especially for the beer houses.
And you help people get out and dance and have a good time, right?
That's correct.
Okay, what ship are you especially looking forward to seeing today?
I'm really especially looking for the big German ship coming in and all the rest of the nice ships coming in.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. and the ships are expected to arrive here around 11 o'clock. So far now we hear that might be pushed back a little bit, but we will be right here to let you know about all the excitement and everything that's going on. Back to you, LaSalle and Brittany.
Benita Harris with the exclusive interview with the Burgermeister.
You know, one of the best views of the Parade of Sail is from Sky 13.
That's right, and 13's Allison Williams is flying high above the Parade of Sail. Allison, what's it look like from where you are?
Oh, it is just gorgeous. You wouldn't believe the number of boats out here, so let me go ahead and show you for yourself. Right now you're looking at the Guayas. This is a ship from Ecuador. It is actually the sister ship to the Gloria, which is from Colombia. It is 257 feet long. There's actually 17,000 square feet of sail on this ship, and that is a lot of sail to man. It takes about 15 to 20 crew members just to raise the sail, and then there's a constant job of trimming the sails. That means adjusting the sails to the wind direction so as to maneuver it around. We actually had several people who were up in the mast about maybe 5 minutes ago working on doing that, on manning the sails. Now the shape is what really moves the ships. The sails are just like really the wing of an airplane. They operate on the same principle. It's the same curve, the same shape that gives the airplane a lift, gives the sails a push. Now we talked about the parade being 12 miles long, and we also heard from Benita and Velma, who both said that the boats are going to be a little later in passing by them than expected. I'm actually surprised at the distance between each ship. I thought that they would be closer together. I thought that really this is actually probably better because it gives you enough time to study each ship as it passes, as it moves through the Chesapeake Bay. Spirit of Norfolk just passed by as well. They had several people up on the top deck. It is full with people watching the Parade of Sail go by. They actually have some prime seats. Now, actually, Hampton Roads was chosen as one of the 8 cities to host this OpSail because of this area's historic connection with the water. And we all know that this is a big Navy area as well, and there's over 100 years of history through this Atlantic Ocean, through the Chesapeake Bay and all the rivers. They brought explorers, they brought merchant settlers to this area. You can see all the little boats as well around the ships that are passing by. They're getting some sightseeing done. This brought sightseers, visitors, all the people from Hampton Roads to come out and see these tall ships. Over 2 million people are out here watching them. They expect 10 to 15,000 people are out in their small boats. Really a great sight, and you can see why there might be some delay in getting to Hampton and where Velma is and getting into downtown Norfolk, because there is a great deal of space between these ships. Part of the reason is for safety, and part of the reason is with sailing you really don't have all that much control as far as how close you can get and how to maneuver in the waters. So maybe that's part of the reason why, but really it is just a beautiful sight from up here, as you can tell. Brittany and LaSalle?
You know, we have a Navy ship taking part today.
Yes, we do. The USS San Jacinto. And when you're talking about the Navy, you know who got that assignment?
Oh, yeah, that's right. 13's military reporter Mike Gooding, who joins us by phone from the ship. How's it going there?
It's going great, Brittany. The USS San Jacinto is just now making its way out of the Norfolk Naval Station to join up with the parade off Fort Monroe. Once we do join up, what a sight it will be. There among the schooners and barks will be this 567-foot-long Ticonderoga-class Aegis cruiser in the nautical parade of the century, celebrating the bygone days when wind was the only thing that powered seagoing vessels. Will be this, one of the world's mightiest warships of modern times. You know, San Jacinto fired the first Tomahawk cruise missile back in Operation Desert Storm, but today she's serving a much more gentle purpose. San Jacinto has hundreds of civilians and school children and dependents on board today, providing what should be one of the best views in town of the Parade of Sail. One special group of kids here are 6 students from Sherwood Forest Elementary School in Norfolk. That's a school that was adopted by St. Jack as part of the Navy's Adopt a School program. We'll get to see the 15-mile-long Parade of Sail in its entirety as the parade makes its way into Norfolk. We'll be going alongside in the opposite direction, passing each and every vessel in this extravaganza. San Jacinto's motto, the ship's motto, is "Victory is certain." Today, perhaps it ought to be a splendid time is guaranteed for all. Brittany, LaSalle.
Imagine how excited those kids on board must be to be right smack dab in the middle of the Parade of Sail. Mike Gooding on the phone.
Folks, we have so many people working behind the scenes to bring you this live coverage of the Parade of Sail here in Hampton Roads. We certainly hope you're enjoying it. What a way to kick off a Friday morning.
I'll tell you, we want to say thanks to our friends at Moon Engineering. They provided this beautiful site here along the Elizabeth River, and we will be back to it momentarily. Right now we want to check in with 13 meteorologist Craig Muller, who's been visiting with locals and tourists alike out at the island at the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. Craig, it's pretty gusty today.
Yeah.
A little breezy out here, but not all that bad really. I just checked the winds, about 10 to 15 miles per hour from the south at times. Generally, it's been lighter than that, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Do you guys see this ship over my shoulder? I'm going to ask my photographer to go ahead and zoom in. That is the Russian Mir, and we're not talking about the space station Mir. This is the tall ship, 358 feet in length, built back in 1988, so it's not very old. It is used primarily as a training ship for the Russian merchant marine. The Mir has a capacity of 199 people, 144 of those could be cadets, and unlike the older trainers where the cadets slept in hammocks in a common area, on the Mir the cadets sleep in bunks, and they share bunks and they work completely different watches. So a very modern ship there, but very beautiful, and you can see it's a big one there at 358 feet in length. You can see the beams running 45.9, or I should say over 45 feet, almost 46 feet, a real crowd pleaser. And what's so neat, the folks really start to buzz out here as these bigger ships roll on through. And you can see we've got some smaller ones on the way as well. Still some great ships to come. The Amerigo Vespucci, a lot of folks looking forward to that one. You can see the Mir, though, just now passing through the tunnel here, the Bay Bridge Tunnel area. And really, now the weather conditions just spectacular. We've got a big patch of blue over us now, a lot of sun shining down, and I think the folks out here are really having a great time. So right now we're taking a look at the Eagle, the Bark Eagle, fantastic ship there used by the Coast Guard of Bark. And again, a training vessel. We've been talking a lot about that. That is where Doug Aronson has been this morning, and really enjoying the parade. Right now out here we've got, I can't even tell you how many small ships out in the bay. I'd say small ships, boats, and different watercrafts. Folks really having a good time. We have not seen any incidents out here. We've been watching for them a little bit. You'd think with some of the folks out zipping around some of these taller ships, you might have some problems. Thus far, everybody seems to be caught up in the spirit of OpSail, and things are really moving along nicely. As I look out, I'd say we probably still have another good half hour or so of parade still waiting to come through the Bay Bridge Tunnel, so there's a lot more action to cover out here. It's just truly a spectacular vision out here with the different ships moving on through. There are some more tall ships, as I mentioned, waiting to come through the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. We're excited about those, and as they get closer, we're identifying them, and we're actually having some of the folks here helping us identify them farther off, and we'll bring you more information as we get it. Back to you.
Craig, let me ask you this. We're seeing the smaller boats that are trying to get a bird's eye view, I guess, from the water of what these ships look like. How close are they actually able to get to these tall ships?
Gosh, that's a great question, Brittany. As I've been watching, I don't know what the safe zone is, or the no-fly zone, if you will. Some of the boats have gotten pretty close, but most of them have been very respectful of the ships and their paths. They have not gotten too close at all. I'd say, I don't know, maybe 100 yards or so. I'm just guessing. At this distance, it's kind of hard to really judge accurately. I will say this, the helicopters, we've provided some air coverage, and some of the other stations have been trying to get some different shots, I guess, for news or whatever. But some of the ships have been kind of buzzing around some of these things. Some of the helicopters have been kind of reminiscent of King Kong with the dogfight at the end, with the planes buzzing around the Empire State Building. At any rate, no incidents. Everybody's having a great time out here, and the shots, the beauty, just spectacular.
Back live downtown in Norfolk along the banks of the Elizabeth River for OpSail 2000.
And we want to head back out to the Bark Eagle. That's where 13 special correspondent Doug Aronson is on the lead ship of the Parade of Sail. Doug, you must feel like the king of the world out there.
I'm not going to do my DiCaprio impersonation, don't worry. Yeah, we're on board this remarkable ship, 295 feet in length. It actually dates back, the Eagle itself, to 1792. No, not that this ship is that old. Actually, it is pretty old, though, for among a lot of the fleet that's here. It's this ship dates back to 1936 is when the construction was completed on this ship, and it's had undergone several renovations since then. One of the real differences that you can tell from modern day versus previous days is that a lot of the Coast Guard crew members, which are out about doing some of their work, they've got pagers and cell phones attached to their belts. So that's how you know you're in the year 2000. But it's really a remarkable ship. The huge American flag, 30 feet by 50 feet, sailing behind us. Here's what's going on out here. We have right over my shoulder here, we're going to pan off and get you a shot. This is absolutely one of the crowd favorites. A lot of people waiting still around here for this ship, the last of the really tall ships coming through. This is the Amerigo Vespucci, 331 feet, 6 inches long. This is one of two ships originally built as training ships on the inspiration of Francesco Rotundi, Lieutenant Colonel of the Naval Engineering Corps. This ship was given to Russia at the end of World War II as reparations, and today sails as the Danae. The design of the Amerigo Vespucci was inspired by the big 19th century frigates with a high freeboard stern galley and white painted strakes.
Her bow and stern are decorated with intricate gilt carvings. This is one of the greatest ships you're going to see out here. It is a fantastic vision under full sail. Right now, obviously not all the sails out, but it is a beautiful, beautiful ship. And the folks right now, I mean, the shutters are flashing, or I guess shutters are shuttering, right? And the bulbs are flashing. At any rate, this is absolutely a crowd favorite. And I think the weather has worked out pretty nicely as well. I know we've had some problems with some of the communication going on around with the winds picking up a little bit, but the ships are having no problem navigating through the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel area. And the winds right now, as I mentioned, I've got a handheld anemometer. They've been running about 10 miles per hour, 10 to 15 miles per hour. That is certainly not unmanageable, and these ships are not having any problems. Also, the boats that are all circling these big ships and following them in the parade, the spectators, they're not having any problems either. So we've been very, very fortunate out here. We've seen a mix of clouds and sunshine. As I look back towards the south side, we do have a few more clouds, and we're going to see that clouds and sunshine throughout the day. Hot and humid, maybe an isolated storm or two later on, but don't let that change your plans. Right now, plan on having a great OpSail weekend, and just know that in this typical summertime pattern, an isolated storm or two could pop up. Again, that's the Amerigo Vespucci just now making its cross over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel. Not quite under full sail, but still spectacular to see, and this is the last of the really tall ships coming through. So as far as the parade of sail is concerned out here at the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, that's going to do it for us. Again, a beautiful day and a fantastic parade.
Ah, yes, tall ships, smaller boats, and lots of people packing the harbor tonight.
But no need to break out the binoculars. From the parade of sail to the parties on the shore, we have live, extended coverage of OpSail 2000.
This party got started very early this morning. One of the biggest parades of sail Hampton Roads has ever seen.
And you know, Barbara, the wind made it not only beautiful, but challenging as well. 13's Dale Gauding has that story for us from high above the harbor in Sky 13. And Dale, as predicted, thousands of people lining the shoreline to see this spectacle.
David, thousands of people took advantage of a rare opportunity to see the legacy of the Port of Hampton Roads, the thing that made this one of the most important seaports in the world, come back to life. We're going to go to photographer Gary Root's camera right now. This is a live picture of the downtown Norfolk waterfront at Otterberth and Waterside. Some of this living history that is now in the Port of Hampton Roads. 46 ships in the harbor now, 2 expected tomorrow, and this morning there were thousands of people who got out to see a rare chance to have so many ships under sail.
Spectators got a real bang out of the parade of sail. They lined up by the thousands at Fort Monroe in Hampton. Navy families got ringside seats aboard the USS Nassau. Thousands more made their way to Willoughby, including 2 guys who rowed 27 miles to follow the ships.
We left from Norfolk, went to Seashore State Park, sat there and got to see them at the turnaround, and followed them up Shore Drive, and came up here to Willoughby, and we're seeing them here right now passing the NOB.
Worth the ride?
Well worth the ride. It's a blast today.
A blast of another kind as a tire let go just before the trip back home.
Oh, I think it's part of the deal. Take the good with the bad, right? Yeah. So it's a lot of fun, though.
Fun, too, for Keith Rice, who repairs sailboats for a living and brought his son to witness history under sail.
The insides of the ships and the way they made, the woodwork and everything. That's what I like about it.
The Anspoth family of Willoughby has one of the best seats in the house for Operation Sail. They built a widow's walk on their house out here at Willoughby Bay, and that gives them a bird's nest view of the Parade of Sail.
We have about a 180-degree view.
Anspoth noted the stiff breeze as the ships entered the harbor and tacked against the wind.
At the tunnel, they have to come about, and it's quite a chore, if you can imagine. The crews are busy, I'm sure.
But it made for spectacular views, a first for young Ross Underwood here.
Big sails.
And it may be a long time before he sees so many big sails again.
And here we are again live on the downtown Norfolk waterfront with this spectacular view of these tall ships tied up along the waterfront that people are going to be able to see all during the weekend. You've got to come out and take advantage of this. We've had parades of sail here in Hampton Roads before. Never have we had this many tall ships. And David and Barbara, I got to tell you, to be up here, you don't realize just how much of the port of Hampton Roads right now is taken up with these tall ships. People are going to have to take all weekend to come see them. It's a real treat. We'll have more on this story coming up on 13 News at 6.
All right, Dale and everybody in Sky 13. Beautiful shots. Thanks, everybody.
It really is outstanding. Well, you know, there's always got to be a leader in the parade, and today the Coast Guard cutter Eagle took the center stage as lead ship today.
Of course, the Eagle is the flagship of the Coast Guard Academy. It's also what 13's Doug Aronson rode in today from Virginia Beach to Norfolk.
She is one of the longest and tallest ships in OpSail, 295 feet long, one mast, 150 feet high. The Eagle is a floating classroom of sorts for the Coast Guard Academy in Connecticut. Every cadet who attends the academy serves a stint on board this bark.
You can't get any more seaman-like than on a boat like this. I mean, this takes you way back to the old days of ship handling.
In the old days, crew members hoisted the sails and manned the rails. They learn how to do that today, even though a good portion of the Coast Guard's mission doesn't involve navigating a ship with 21,000 square feet of sail.
You've got to be a professional mariner before you can do law enforcement or search and rescue or drug interdiction or any of those things. We're giving them the foundation so that they can operate the ship safely and professionally and then learn how to do the missions on top of that.
The captain himself got to where he is, starting out as a cadet on board the ship he now leads. The history of the Eagle dates back further than the captain's stint. This ship is actually 64 years old. At one time it flew the Nazi flag. It became an American war prize after World War II. Today, its role is primarily PR for the Coast Guard. It proudly flies a 30 by 50 foot American flag. Today, leading the Parade of Sail for OpSail 2000. After a 30-mile voyage from Virginia Beach, the Eagle has landed in downtown Norfolk. Doug Aronson, 13 News, on board the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Eagle.
Well, you know, I'm hearing that Fort Monroe really provided one of those really neat spots to see the Parade of Sail today.
And that's where 13's Velma Scape watched the parade, along with those who were lucky enough to get on the post. And Velma, I understand that you needed a vehicle pass to actually get on the post to see the parade.
Well, that's right, David, but the passes were free, but only 6,500 were issued as a means of controlling the traffic. But many people felt that that little extra effort they had to give was well worth it. OpSail watchers began arriving at Fort Monroe early to stake out a spot in front of the Chesapeake Bay. Malcolm Jones thought about taking his boat out to watch the parade, but then he realized it couldn't get much better than this.
I think the view would be better without the rocking.
The view was indeed better after a haze lifted. Doris Whitson and her family could have watched from Norfolk, but preferred the peninsula.
We decided to come over here because we would see all of the ships from over here. And if we were in Norfolk, we'd just see them being docked.
The family came equipped with a little bit of everything: a video camera, a still camera, binoculars, and walkie-talkies. For some, it was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity they didn't want to miss.
I like it when the sails are up, because they're so pretty. And how about that Ecuadorian one where they played the music for us? That was really nice.
Seeing the flagship of the U.S. Coast Guard brought back memories for one spectator. Carl Gruhl of Kilmarnock was once stationed aboard the Eagle.
She was a wonderful ship to sail on, but it's an awful lot of work. And so it's all young people out doing that. Those sails don't go up by themselves.
But after a while, one teen had a hard time seeing what all the fuss was about.
The first hour was okay. And then after that, it's just ship and ship and ship, and they're big boats.
That, by the way, is Ryan Cash. He is sports director Scott Cash's son. Barbara?
Which explains everything, really.
I thought there was a resemblance. Hey, thanks, Velma. Have a good time down there.
Wow. Pretty, huh?
It is
Impressive.
just outstanding. Kind of cool music,
You
don't
like
you
that,
think?
huh?
Yeah, it's got a nice beat. I'll give it a 60. Anyway, you know, up and down the bay and the river all day today, people were staking out the best spots so that they could watch the Parade of Sail.
They were, and there was some great viewing of the tall ships at the Chamberlain Hotel in Hampton today. The USO of Hampton Roads had it all staked out. They served breakfast and lunch and marveled at the spectacular flotilla.
I don't think anybody could say anything less than incredible. I mean, as these ships come by, it just can't help but reckon back on historical days when these ships sailed the seas, and on modern days and our soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines who are deployed overseas. And of course, that's why the USO is part of this, because these people that have given their lives to protecting their countries and faraway locations, as indicated by many of these ships, we just like to be there and be part of that and give them a little home away from home.
Incredible is a word you hear a lot, and the USO over there in Hampton was joined by lots of other folks at the Chamberlain Hotel today watching the Tall Ships Parade.
You know, it's just unbelievable, you know, this area and everything we have to offer this weekend. From the Boardwalk Art Show down at the Resort City in Virginia Beach to the Blackbeard Festival in the city of Hampton, every city in Hampton Roads has some event going on during OpSail 2000.
It's amazing how it's all come together. The big party of the weekend is taking place at Town Point Park in Norfolk, and our Regina Mobley is there. Joins us one more time. And Regina, I think you're having a good time. It certainly sounds like it.
Everybody's having a great time here, David. I'd like to let you know that it's really not very crowded down here right now, but we expect the crowds to come in a little later on. This is a great event in Hampton Roads. You don't want to miss it. It is truly a jaw-dropping experience. We're waiting on the live band to start kicking up again, but in the meantime, there's plenty to see and do down here in Town Point Park. Lots of food, lots of souvenir items. As a matter of fact, a few minutes ago, I was sampling some delicious jambalaya from the Dixie Tavern. Lots of see and do, and I'm telling you, the food was... I think I've been beaten! Anything can happen down here in Town Point Park. It's OpSail 2000. You don't want to miss it. Back to you.
What do you call that, a bead-by? You know, like a drive-by?
I was beat. It was
you
a
were
bead-by.
right here in front of everybody. Thanks, Regina.
You've seen them around. They're easy to spot. The uniforms give them away. Off of the ship with a little free time, what are these sailors doing? We found these sailors in downtown Norfolk trying to walk to the Navy Exchange. Obviously a popular place for these sailors, these guys were headed there as well, with a long list of things to buy.
Bueno, voy a ir a comprar. Comprar es, voy a ir a comprar diferentes cosas.
Fio para ligar meu equipamento de MD
Walkman.
I understood that. And speaking of which, language can pose a problem for these sailors finding their way around, or for me, just trying to find out their names. What is your name?
My name is Santos.
How do you spell that?
What?
How do you spell?
How
do you spell it?
What?
Spell?
Smell.
How do you spell it? How do you write that name? Once we made it through the basics, we found other sailors going for more traditional tourist treasures.
This one was postcards to send to Portugal and white envelopes.
But not everybody is interested in shopping out here. These guys are interested in dancing.
We want to dance very much.
Some even had a list of local dance spots and know just where they're heading tonight.
The Abyss can be the Abyss in Virginia Beach dancing in the ocean front.
A few aren't that lucky. Someone has to man the ship.
No, I'm service 24 hours this day.
Maybe tomorrow. But some couldn't wait till tomorrow. They wanted to call their loved ones tonight. What are you going to tell her about Norfolk?
It's amazing. I don't know anything like this. Yeah, it's amazing.
Allison Williams, 13 News, Norfolk.
This is an OpSail 2000 special edition of 13 News.
Tonight on 13 News at 6, the tall ships have arrived. OpSail 2000 is underway all across Hampton Roads.
And leading the parade of sail this morning was the U.S. Coast Guard Bark Eagle. We're going to take you aboard.
And we'll take you ashore as Hampton Roads kicks off this historic weekend. Good evening, everyone. I'm Barbara Ciara.
And I'm David Allen. Thanks so much for staying with us for our continuing coverage of OpSail 2000.
Yes, we are coming to you live from above the Elizabeth River at Moon Engineering. Thanks so much for letting us set up here, as well as locations all across Hampton Roads.
And Barbara, you know, OpSail 2000 is such a huge event. We've dispatched crews to both sides of the water. 13's Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson and Benita Harris are standing by live at Town Point Park, ground zero for OpSail 2000.
But we're going to begin high above in the sky with 13's Dale Godding and live in Sky 13. Dale, let's begin with this morning's parade of sail. What a great way to kick off the weekend.
Well, Barbara, we're on the other end of the parade of sail right now, but we're going to show you some great pictures in just a minute. We're going to go to Gary Root, photographer Gary Root's camera right now. We're at the Pagoda Pier, the Banana Pier, where some of the ships are tied up in downtown Norfolk. Now, pilot Sonny Ray is going to give us a little bit of a flyby in downtown Norfolk here. We're coming up on Nauticus here shortly, and there you see the Esmeralda from Chile, one of the biggest ships in the OpSail fleet. And then coming around, you see some of the smaller vessels tied up in the Nauticus basin there. They've got a pretty good-sized ship shoehorned in on the inside of the pier. And then we come around to Town Point Park and the Outer Berth, and you're going to see a spectacular grouping of tall ships down here, courtesy of photographer Gary Root. Now, thousands of people came out to the waterfront in Hampton Roads to see these ships today, many for the first time, and for some of these people, it's something they may never see again.
They say you can't tell the players without a program. That's why tour bus driver Peggy Deal used a guide from the paper to help her appreciate the Krusenstern, looming huge and hazy in the distance.
These gentlemen have binoculars, and they're looking at the flags, and I was looking them in the paper so we could see who they were.
Jackie Clemens and husband Doug live in Ocean View, but the ships were easier to see from Willoughby.
It's a chance of a lifetime, you know. We're out here with our binoculars and, you know, getting some pictures, and it's not too often you get a chance to see, you know, so many boats from so many different areas.
You didn't really need binoculars at Fort Monroe in Hampton. That's where they made the turn from the bay into the Elizabeth River, tacking into the wind, giving thousands of spectators on shore and hundreds aboard the USS Nassau memorable pictures of sailing ships under sail. From his widow's walk back in Willoughby, Gustav Asboth appreciated the effort.
And it's quite a chore, if you can imagine, bringing all those sails about.
They're working hard to get in there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And as we come back live, we'll show you how all the hard work that those crews did this morning was worth it. We got an entire weekend of tall ships to enjoy here in Hampton Roads, and it's an event that isn't going to happen for a long, long time. Get down here while you have the chance. Barbara and David, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, 13's Dale Godding. Well, the Eagle has landed in downtown Norfolk.
And we are, of course, talking about the flagship, the Coast Guard's flagship. The 295-foot-long cutter led the parade of sail today. The vessel did not come in at full sail, traveling instead mostly on diesel power. Most of the crew of the Eagle, by the way, are Coast Guard cadets. For them, the Eagle serves as a floating classroom. Every cadet, by the way, who attends the Coast Guard Academy gets a stint on board the Eagle. And the ship, this is an interesting note, used to be under the control of Nazi Germany. And you know, moving on, there are several locations here in Hampton Roads where people will arm wrestle you for the title of the best location in town to see the parade of sail. But certainly one of the best locations was certainly the USS San Jacinto.
Sure was. It was especially thrilling for scores of school kids today who got a chance to visit and visit these tall ships up close and personal. 13's Mike Gooding went along for the ride.
Good morning, San Jacinto.
Old and new met on the high seas as the Navy Aegis cruiser San Jacinto joined vessels from a bygone era, when the wind and the stars were all sailors needed for navigation. Along for the ride, several hundred area school children.
My school at Deer Park, they had the fourth grade they had to pick somebody to come out and go and see OpSail on a ship, and 1 out of 100, they picked me.
Yes, there were many lucky young people on board for the big show.
Oh, they're really cool, and they're big, and they're old, and I really like them. I think they're really cool.
I think it's fun.
Why?
Because you get to see all the boats and you get to go on the boat, and it's fun.
And fun was had by kids of all ages.
Oh, absolutely. You never get a chance to see this many tall ships. Fantastic.
At 567 feet in length, the San Jacinto is the largest ship in the parade of sail by far and the most sophisticated, having fired the first Tomahawk cruise missiles back in Operation Desert Storm. So what's the San Jac doing in the parade? PR.
That's what your tax dollars are paying for. They're paying for this ship, so that's why we like to show it off as often as we can.
And so San Jacinto did, in high style. And someday these kids will tell their kids all about it.
Bye-bye.
Mike Gooding, 13 News.
There's a party in Portsmouth as well this weekend. Our live coverage of the Sea Wall Festival is coming up.
And we'll head to the peninsula where old Blackbeard is back, but this time he's bringing a treasure trove of fun.
And 13 News at 6 continues for Virginia Beach, where the Boardwalk Art Festival is underway this weekend.
And for Chesapeake, where the American Indian Festival is being held this weekend.
And the rest of Hampton Roads in a moment. You love that music, don't you?
I love that music.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, in years past, in the heyday of the tall ships, the last thing a sailor wanted to see was Blackbeard.
Oh, no. You know, but today, the sight of that notorious pirate means fun, not fear.
13's Michelle Louie joins us live from Hampton, where the Blackbeard Pirate Festival is in full swing. Michelle, how are the crowds up there?
Well, David, there are lots of kids out here tonight, not to mention lots of visitors who have taken the ferry over from Norfolk to see what the sights are like on this side of the water. But the Blackbeard Festival is really just getting underway tonight and is supposed to be the most extravagant event ever held here in Hampton. They marked their entrance with quite a bang. Tall ships pulled into port today here in Hampton as part of the Blackbeard Festival, the peninsula's chance to celebrate OpSail 2000. This replica of the Pinta was welcomed with open arms. This group of students from Deer Park Elementary School adopted this ship called the Pride of Many.
To get ready for the ship to come, the students have been going to the OpSail 2000 website and looking at some of the information about where the ship has gone and getting some of the statistics about the different ships that would be here today.
I like how our school has our own ship and how we get to play for it when we come here today. And we're kind of missing school, so that's cool too.
But the biggest attraction yet this weekend may be meeting the notorious legend himself, the infamous Blackbeard. As the story goes, the pirate terrorized others in the sea and was later defeated and beheaded, his head placed on a stake here in Hampton, warning other would-be pirates to stay away.
Quite misunderstood was I. All the stories that you hear, not a word of truth. Probably the nicest pirate who ever drew breath.
Well, a little later tonight, there'll be a big fireworks display, not to mention some pirate parties and pirate skirmishes. Back to you guys.
All right, 13's Michelle Louie live tonight in Hampton. Well, you know, crowds are also gathering tonight over our shoulder across the Elizabeth River in Portsmouth.
Oh, yeah, don't forget about P-Town. I know Carlton Houston didn't. He is high above the water at Harbor Tower. How's the view from there, Carlton?
Well, we have a great view of both sides of the river here, Barbara, and with the Sea Wall Festival taking place on High Street this year, everything culminates right at the waterfront, and so far that's been the biggest draw. It's a familiar festival in a different location. This year's Sea Wall Festival stretches along High Street in Portsmouth for 7 blocks. Organizers say they're taking on a more international approach by bringing in groups like this 3-man Bolivian band. But the music was only part of the draw. Along the waterfront, eager school children awaited the Picton Castle from Canada, and they waited with gifts for the crew.
We have Virginia peanuts, 2 packages of Virginia peanuts.
I think they are really neat, and it'll be like a neat experience to get to talk to some of the crew members if we get a chance to do that.
It was about the size I expected it to be. It's really awesome, I think.
Hosting this ship turned into a summer lesson for these kids from Churchland Elementary School. one day after the last day of school.
It sounds like a big deal for you guys.
It has been a big deal, and our parents have been wonderfully supportive, the PTA, with the children, so we've become really involved with that.
Back live here on the 11th floor of Harbor Tower. Those kids you saw there, Churchland Elementary School, it's been a really big deal. As you heard them mention, they've been working on this since April of last year, so you can imagine the excitement that's been building up, all culminating on this day. We're live in Portsmouth on the 11th floor of Harbor Towers. Barbara, David, back to you.
Yeah, lots of fun in P-Town. Tell all my friends hello. Yeah, well, I guess this brings to a close this special 6 o'clock edition of our OpSail 2000 coverage. You're up to date at this hour.
We've been here since 5 o'clock. It's been a lot of fun. Great, great, great. But our coverage doesn't end here. We'll have more coverage of this historic event coming up on Pilot 13 News at 10 and on 13 News at 11.
And of course, we want to leave you with a little something special, so we're going to take a look back at this morning's beautiful parade of sail.
Have a great weekend.
And thanks for the company.
From WVEC TV, Channel 13, this is 13 News Live special coverage of the OpSail 2000 Fireworks Spectacular.
It looks oh so effortless. A dozen tall ships gliding through Hampton Roads. The orchestrated event has brought thousands of guests to visit us.
And the fun is only just beginning. You're looking at a live picture from Sky 13. Wow, what a picture. In just 30 minutes, the largest fireworks display in Hampton Roads history will unfold right before your very eyes.
They came.
It was cool.
They conquered.
We're expecting a storm with some high winds and some potentially dangerous lightning.
And this morning, the tall ships of OpSail are setting out for their next port of call.
Thanks for joining us as Hampton Roads bids farewell to the ships and sailors that brought us an unforgettable weekend.
WVEC